Welcome back, adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, we were introduced to Kaito, or Kai, a member of the Robot Club, not the Robotic or Robotics Club. We were also somewhat less introduced to the other members of the Robot Club, um, with one exception, Irie. The rest we have no idea about whatsoever at this moment in time. And of course, in the last episode, we did a system online check of our mighty mechanical behemoth known as a gun barrel. In the future, because that took place in February of 2020, and at this moment in time, it is June of 2019, well, not quite a whole year ago, but close to that. Before we get this episode underway, two things I would like to mention. As first, as many of you have seen, the divergence meter that reads 1.048596, which in Steins-Gate terms would mean that Robotics Notes takes place on the beta world line divergence field. Which is not surprising given the fact that Chaos Head, Steins-Gate, and Robotics Notes all essentially take place in the same universal sphere of things, albeit in completely divergent fashions. Second of all, I shall read to you the text that was beneath the Robotics Notes Elite logo, which I didn't read last time because that font is incredibly small for my eyes. Fortunately, I've written it out here. The science itself may prove cynical. However, we mustn't forget that there is a scientific element in all things. The important truth is this. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The last two lines there we also saw in a poem by somebody by the name of William Hurley, who I have never read nor ever heard about before. But the poem, as well as the text that I've just read out, is quite quaint for my liking. Also, finally, I am 99.97% sure that there is, or at the very least will be, a possible update or localization or some sort of patch on the site Committee of Zero. I say this because that's exactly what I used in my Let's Play of Chaos Child, which certainly improved a lot of things and also changed the font a bit, but it also made certain aspects much more useful, which was a good move on their part. So kudos, I can't remember who pointed it out, but kudos to everyone that pretty much said who let me know about the Committee of Zero patch. I'm pretty sure there is one for Robotics Notes as well. But anyway, we're here in Kaito's room. At least I assume it's his room, given the memorabilia that's scattered around here. And he's clearly holding a physical camera, judging from the lines on the screen. Apparently he's doing a close-up of what could very well be a kid's or a toy rendition of what a gun barrel is supposed to be. I'm pretty sure they look more intimidating in real life than in toy form. But anyway, let's get this episode started.
どこら辺が変わったのかさっぱりわかんないけど、
I don't think any of us have a clue, Kaito. Voice recognition. Voice
はいはい。
recognition confirmed. Mr. Kaito Yashio.
俺の名前はヤシオカイト。
Yeah, I had a feeling that Yashio was his last name. And I was right.
中央種子島高校普通科3年2組。出席番号26番、成績は中の下。
Apparently Kaito's school is Central Tanegashima High. That's actually going to that's actually quite a lot to say there. I hope they shorten that, because saying Tanegashima a lot is going to be a bit of a strain on the old tongue. But as with most leading characters, Kaito is an average student.
部活はロボット研究部に所属してますよ、一応ね。
So the Robot Club's full appellation is the Robot Research Club. And there's little notifications there, little pings letting us know that there's some club equipment, and that is a Tanegashi machine. I see what they did there.
ロボットのことは詳しくなかったりするけども。
Yeah, funny that. Kaito did mention the fact that he's a fighting game player, which of course would mean that he is more into arcade fighters like Street Fighter, Tekken, and the rest.
得意分野は何を隠そう。ゲームだったりしちゃったりして。
Yeah, as I said before, there is no surprise.
って、あれ？
The post-update info messages have already disappeared from the screen. I guess I spent too much time yammering. So, apparently Kaito is live streaming. It's more than what I can do. I let out a tiny sigh and left the dimly lit Robot Research Club room, and we have our date. It is indeed, no wait. Is it? I thought it was June, given the arrangement of the date, but could either be the 10th of June or it could be the 6th of October. Anyway, it's 2019. It's a Monday. Mondays explain everything. Also, that font is pretty cool. A refreshing early summer breeze blows by, and we get some nice, relaxing summer breeze music. It's like night and day compared to that cramped, hot room. Tell me about it. The moment I step outside, I stop sweating. Funny that. With the cool breeze washing over my entire body, I take a look at the surrounding scenery on my PhoneDroid. Yeah, I should have realized that he wasn't using a standard handheld camera. Even though the menu has the exact same aesthetic as a video camera. We usually see lots of typhoons this time of year, but today seems like a nice day, that it is. The sky extends high and wide, endlessly blue. It's already turning to the color of summer. This place is about 40 kilometers south of Kagoshima's Osumi Peninsula. And if this isn't classic, upbeat, jaunty summer anime music, I don't know what is. I live here on... I really have to say this every single time, don't I? Tanegashima. Right next to Yakushima, famous for being a World Heritage Site. This island, on the other hand, isn't really noteworthy outside of matchlock rifles and our rocket launch site. But you launch missiles here? Disturbed by that. You know what, I'm gonna put my foot down and impose my rule that from henceforth it shall be known as Central High. I'm not even going to call it. Yeah, Tanegashima, goddammit. Central High is right at the center of the island. It's one of the only 2 high schools in the area, actually. There's a second one. Well, not that that's uncommon, but still. Over 10 years ago, there was an anime set here that got popular. But that's our only real point of pride.
じゃあまあ、アップデートしたことだし、ちょっと試してみますかね。
Yeah, it's going to be one of those situations. It was then that I hear a voice in the distance calling for me by my nickname. There are only a handful of people who call me that. Looks like our Presses Club president is back. Yeah, there was no way that Kaito was going to be the leader of these miscreants at the Robot Research Club.
ちょうどいいや。ポケコンで気になるあの子をロックオンしてみるかな。
Akiho Senomiya shows up at just the right moment as I capture her within the screen of my PhoneDroid. And for some reason, we're getting a smorgasbord of tips. Why we're getting them now instead of in the previous episode, I don't know. Also the tips previously in oh, she's moving. She's actually moving in real life. She's not just a sprite on a screen. And the tips are still going. Going to oh my god, this is, yeah, what I was about to say before I suddenly noticed that Akiho is all of a sudden in the 3rd dimension instead of the 2nd dimension, is the fact that normally in previous entries, tips would actually be color-coded in blue. But we're getting tips for everything. We're getting tips out our ears. I'm gonna wait for this to end because this is just exploding out of nowhere. I don't know if it's a glitch. I don't know if that's how it was supposed to happen, but the fact that Akiho Senomiya is moving in the real world. I mean, yeah, she is still just sort of standing there, but this is incredible. This is a huge step up from the previous science adventure titles, which is pretty much the selling point of Robotics Notes. By the way, actually having 3D characters as opposed to mere 2D characters. So it's not just limited to when we're communicating with each other online or in video format. Also, I'd like to mention the fact that I do love the hell out of these menus and the transitions and everything. It's just, look at all that circuitry, all those delicious wires and everything. To be honest, I barely did anything in terms of electronics back in the day, so I'm definitely no expert on motherboards and everything. But even I have to admit, this looks pretty cool. One could even say that it's kind of like the Matrix, cyberpunk, or cyberspace in a very poetic sense. But anyway, we have a lot of tips to get through. Yeah, we have. That's more tips than we've ever gotten at the start of any of these science adventure let's plays. Previously, we'd only get one. Now we get a whole bunch of them. I'm going to start with this one. Ojari Mouse. Achievement unlocked, studying. I hate it. Also, you can't see the achievements. They're not actually popping up in the episodes, but oh man, I'm enjoying this. I have a smile on my face. I'm way too excited for my own good. Anyway, Ojari Mouse doesn't actually refer to moose or mice or mises. It means welcome in Tanegashima dialect. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that, or why I'm so annoyed whenever I say that. A banner featuring this phrase welcomes visitors to the Tanegashima airport. Yeah, so it's a word of welcome rather than an actual name. Matchlock gun. A gun which is loaded by filling the muzzle with a bullet and gunpowder. It fires bullets by lighting a fuse. In 1543, it was introduced by the Portuguese that landed on Tanegashima. Although, actually, now that I say it multiple times, it actually gets easier to enunciate, but still. Near the end of the Sengoku period, they drastically spread until Japan became the world's largest gun-possessing country at the time, which would obviously change in the centuries to come. Yakushima, an island located about 60 kilometers south of Osumi Peninsula in Kagoshima Prefecture, 20 kilometers west of Tanegashima, 20 kilometers. It's about 504 square kilometers. Weather is subtropical. Average temperature is 19 degrees Celsius throughout the year. The 9th largest island in Japan and registered as World Heritage Site in 1993. This is going to be nearly impossible for me to say without butchering my own throat. Miyanoratake is the highest mountain in Kyushu at 1,936 meters high, and I had to say that mountain name as slowly as I could, just to be able to pronounce it. Anyway, moving on. World Heritage, a location registered per the rules of the Convention concerning the protection of the world cultural and natural heritage by UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It can be a cultural, natural, or mixed heritage. The goal is to preserve valuable ruins, nature, and landscapes. Osumi Peninsula, a peninsula located in Kagoshima Prefecture, just south of Kyushu. When seen on a map of Japan, it's easy to remember it by spotting Sakurajima, where it rests, with Satsuma Peninsula to the west and Osumi Peninsula to the east. Tanegashima. I'm going to get real tired of saying that name. I don't mean to be pedantic, but it has to be said. By the end of this episode, I probably will never want to say Tanegashima ever again. An island located about 40 kilometers south of Osumi Peninsula, about 20 kilometers west of Yakushima. The area is about 445 square kilometers with a subtropical climate. Average temperature is 19 degrees Celsius, the 10th largest island of Japan. PhoneDroid. A tablet-style pocket PC with a 7-inch HD screen. Nicknamed Pokécom in Japan, despite having nothing to do with the pocket computer released in the 1980s. In 2012, it made a boom to replace the cell phone. The newest version runs PhoneDroid OS 4.2 and includes multiple apps such like video calling, internet browser, TV games, mini blog apps, and a camera. There are over 3 billion users in the world. Wait, we heard the term Pokécom in Chaos Child, which means that PhoneDroids are the smartphones that were used by Takuro Miyashiro in Chaos Child, which makes me wonder another thing. Was the smartphone that would basically mean that the smartphone that Rentaro Okabe was using in Steins Gate Zero is in fact also a PhoneDroid as well, but Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero took place in 2010, 2 years before the PhoneDroid boom, so yeah, never really was sure why Rentaro's phone, his classic mobile phone, was replaced by a PhoneDroid, given the time of things, but it is what it is, and we'll leave it at that. Central High, a public high school located in Nakatane-cho, Kumage-gun, Kashushima Prefecture. My voice is already getting tired and we're barely halfway through these tips. It was founded in 2008, but before then the school existed with a different name. Only one of the two high schools in T. Mostly kids from the south side of the island go there. It features co-education with a regular course, an information processing course. As of April 2019, it has a total of 278 students. I'm going to have to get something to drink at some point by the end of this episode. My voice is starting to wear thin. AI, Artificial Intelligence, DOI. AI appears in all sorts of ways, from control systems with self-learning abilities to programs with memorized human routines. IRUO, which we saw at the end of the last episode. A worldwide image dissection street view application. It can update the photos, videos taken on a camera finder by the PhoneDroid users in real time. Anyone can easily geotag the background and share it to all users. It features functions like texture match moving technology, picture recognition, and location matching. The texture match moving tech is applied on 3D images, which allows you to put annotations on the person in the picture, not just the background. Currently, it is automatically installed on 80% of PhoneDroids being sold, which is said to boast over 200 million users worldwide, created by Japan's Happiness for You company limited in 2010. Hence why there were certain those two annotations on the equipment, and also that toy robot. App, for anyone who has literally been living under a rock for the past 20 or 15 or so years. I'll stop. This is gonna drive me nuts. Stands for application software, a program that you can use by installing it onto a certain operating system. Most importantly, Gun Barrel. Mobile Battler Gun Barrel aired from 2012 to 2015 in a 3-part series. As of 2019, it was the last robot anime made in Japan and featured a total of 155 episodes and 39 volumes of Blu-rays. They took a unique approach towards marketing and released the show in 110 countries before releasing in Japan, which caused a boom in other countries ahead of Japan. 4 years have passed since it aired, but it is still described as a godlike anime all over the world. People say no other anime will ever beat it, which is why no robot anime has been made since. It was created to target boys in middle school and higher, and made toys like another robot anime, but the motif of Egyptian mythology as a backbone was for the story. A powerful 3D CG made it popular enough to even have its own movie. The story is about Genki Doto, the main character, who pilots a martial arts robot and gets transported to the past, present, and future. Season 1 opening theme was done by a gothic band called Phantasm. Yeah, looks like Ayase Kishimoto, aka Fez, is still living at large in the world of gothic, well, I'd like to say metal, but yeah, we'll just go with that. Anyway, we still have more reading to do. Much more reading. AR, augmented reality. Technology to display digital information. Typical example of this, excuse my bizarre grammar there, are apps that can set virtual effects and letters over an image taken from a camera. Gyro sensor, a sensor used to measure turning angle velocity. It is used on robots to correct posture and prevent falling. A very useful device, if ever there was one. And finally, actuator, means to make something move or work. In a robot, the actuator is the driving gear. The motors and oil pressure devices actuate the robot. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for this episode. And when we return, we still have an episode to do. We'll finally do something. That certainly took a long time, but now we should probably see what Akiho Senomiya wants with Kaito. And yeah, Kaito Yashio. I almost forgot his name there, but yeah, I remembered it at the last second, and Akiho was most likely really impatient with Kaito right now. We're in the same grade. She's what you call a childhood friend, or Osana Najimi. We go by the nicknames Kai and Aki-chan. I'm just going to call her Akiho, for convenience sake. Would you believe me if I told you we were actually reading out a shed loads of tips? And again, just the fact that characters can actually move in dimensional space is really impressive.
ゲームじゃないって。イルオがアップデートしたんでね、それを試してるんだ。
Yeah, we got a new version of it.
アキちゃん、猫耳つけてあげるよ。
Oh god, we're not doing the maid cafe feline thing all over again, are we? Yeah. No, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I booted up cat ear mode from among the apps icons in IIUO. Huh, so yeah, so apparently tips now tips are actually being properly color-coded. I actually have no idea what happened beforehand. Why all those tips just suddenly randomly spawned out of nowhere. But it's time for yet another tip, yet again. Cat ear mode, IIUO. When booted up, it auto recognizes the person inside the screen and automatically puts cat ears on them. It also displays a pink AR-made outfit as an added bonus, all for free. I wasn't going to point this out, but now that I've read this tip, I'm going to have to. For those of you who have followed Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero, you should be familiar with a certain cat-eared feline cafe maid by the name of Ferris, whose real first name is Akiha, hence the slightly obscure connection and reference between Akiho and Ferris. Yeah. I don't think Akiho is too pleased about the notion of being being a cat girl maid.
Nyam nyam なんつって。
Yeah. Akiho's full designation in Steins Gate was Ferris Nyan Nyan, which obviously translates as Ferris Meow Meow. And yeah. What we're seeing right now is just a digital image courtesy of Kaito. Akiho is not actually wearing this uniform, obviously. Yeah, she's gonna be pissed. This thing is pretty awesome. Not only does it add cat ears to her head, it also gives her a maid outfit. I will never understand why. Yeah, well, at least she's not as mad as she could be. Kai is me, of course, sort of for Kaito, who introduced about that at the start of this episode. Akiho lets out a sigh and takes a sip from the bottle in her hand. Interesting that Kaito's narration is actually from the first person, as opposed to the usual third person descriptions when referring to everyone who isn't the main character or the character at hand. Yeah, on a summer day like this, even if it's school, it's always good to hydrate. Once again, mental note to do that after this episode is over. I'm gonna go, yeah. Actually, it was pointed out that Akiho was the president of the Robot Research Club. I was just being stupid. Apparently the Robot Club has fallen on very hard times. Akiho pointed to the Robot Club room next to the Soccer Club equipment storehouse. It's over there. I guess people assumed that this little shed would never be used as a proper club room. Our space has 2 rooms, but one is used for storage, so the only one that can hold actual people is the left room. That said, it's way too cramped with 2 people inside. Try and relax in there. I dare you. I double dare you. Even worse, we only have a single lamp and no AC. It's too cold in the winter and too hot every other season. You would think for a club that works on robots, you'd think that somebody would have the technical skills to actually fasten an air conditioner. And also an extra light. If hard times refers to being forced to spend time in the club room, then I totally get why Akiho would say that.
ま、でも芝生は意外と気持ちいいよ。
Yeah, the lawn is pretty nice. Also, you should probably put the PhoneDroid down and let Akiho resume her standard appearance. On days when it's not raining anyway. Of course, that didn't really need to be said. And Akiho was still upset with Kai's laid-back attitude. Cat Akiho, I really cannot believe this is a thing, dejectedly returns to the club room after hearing my response. She sits on one of only 2 round chairs in the room and takes a sip of her juice again. So we're back in the storage closet, I mean the robot research club room. And luckily for my sanity, she is back in her usual Central High uniform. Hooray. As I enter, sweat beads form on my forehead. Summer's only just started. I'm going to die when it gets going. Preaching the choir on that one. Summer can be brutal.
今日も教頭先生のところに行ってきたの?
Oh god damn it. Why? Why, Kaito? Why must you haunt me like this? Why must you do this to me?
行ってきたけど、会議中でまた会えなかった。
So apparently the vice principal of... Wait, hold up. I think I read that wrong. Is it the vice principal or vice... I'm pretty sure that was... Yeah, it was the vice principal. I thought... was I reading that wrong? Was it the vice president? No, it was the vice principal of Central High. It was very busy. Very, very busy. Are you sure she isn't just avoiding you? Good thing you didn't say that out loud. As soon as the school year started, the Robot Club had its budget annihilated, so the Robot Club isn't exactly high on the priority list of Central High. Hence our situation. As the president, Akiho has been doggedly negotiating for club funds, but I can tell they aren't taking us seriously. That said, forgive my slip of the tongue there. The fault probably lies in Akiho for ridiculously demanding a tenfold increase last year. Yeah, I can see why the budget committee would probably want to steer clear of you at all times.
部長さんはいろいろ考えなくちゃならんことが多くて大変だね。
Indeed, money is only one aspect of it.
大変だけど充実はしてるよ。
Well, at least she's having fun being club president. Akiho smiles grimly and thrusts her fist up into the air in a super anime pose. Also, I think the other reason why nobody takes the Robot Research Club seriously is the fact that one of its members isn't actually a connoisseur when it comes to robots and is just a fighting game player and an anime enthusiast, aka otaku, or maybe not quite on the level of otaku. I would like to rephrase that, but still, basically Kaito is probably the other reason why nobody takes the Robot Club seriously. Just saying. Yeah.
ちょっぴり焦りもあるけどね。
Yeah. With all the perks of being club president, there are a lot of responsibilities.
えらいえらい。
That's not the type of pep talk that she needs.
カイはまるで人事だね。ロボ部はもううちとカイの2人しかいないんだよ。少しはそれを自覚してほしいんだけどな。
Oh, that certainly helps matters, doesn't it? Apparently, Akiho and Kaito are the only members of the Robot Research Club, hence probably the third reason why nobody takes them seriously. I'm even surprised that the Robot Club even exists at this moment in time. Don't you need like 3 members for a club to actually function, at the very least? The Central High Robot Research Club, also known as the Robot Club. Its history goes back 9 years, all the way back to 2011. Although I'm almost certain that giant robots weren't being invented in 2011. It all started with a girl named Misaki Senomiya, a first-year student at the time, who I'm guessing is either... Yeah, actually no, there is no either about it. I'm guessing that Misaki is Akiho's older sister. Yes, that's right. She's the older sister of the girl pouting in front of me right now. I call her Mizane. I, on the other hand, I being me and not Kaito, will refer to her as Misaki. She made the Robot Research Association, and a year later it became a club in recognition of its achievements, so she was the one who started the club. In its golden days, it had nearly 20 members. It even won Robo 1, a Tokyo hobby robot tourney 8 years ago. What is a hobby robot? Well, in the all-important tips list, we were about to find out what it is. 30cm robots released in the 2000s mainly refers to robots that walk with 2 feet and are able to be operated remotely. In late 2010, it became extremely popular due to the DIY models being released for cheap. At the same time, PCs became widely spread, which allowed the robots to be easily programmed. I wonder if anybody remembers a time-honored classic known as Robot Wars. Say what you will, but my favorite robot in all of Robot Wars is, and always will be Sir Kill-Ballad. That was then. Now the club is on thin ice, if that wasn't obvious from our club room and total of 2 members. Also, I don't know why the in now the club is capitalized, but oh well.
いや、でもほら、俺ってロボットとかあんまり興味ないし。
Yeah. Yeah. The supreme irony. A member of a robot club not actually giving a shit about robots.
知ってる。これだけうちが会に洗脳作戦を続けてるのに全く効果なしだもんな。
You know, it would actually help if you actually did some actual brainwashing. Although brainwashing is essentially very unethical, not to mention illegal. When Akiho says brainwash, she means her efforts to get me to watch all kinds of robot anime, probably. And on that note, I will say first and foremost that one of my favorite, perhaps my absolute favorite anime of all time is none other than Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, or just Gundam Wing for short. I've tried to watch the others in the series, and I have watched the original Mobile Suit Gundam anime, but Gundam Wing is my favorite Gundam anime, and my absolute #1 favorite anime, period, end of story. But it turns out that Kaito just doesn't care about mecha anime. If anything, her doing it non-stop since elementary school has had the opposite effect. I don't want to touch this stuff. Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of anime since the since the 90s and 2000s.
アキちゃんの熱意は立派だけど、空回りしてることにはそろそろ気づくべきだと思うよ。
That's basically short for Kaito just wants to spend all his time playing fighting video games and nothing else.
してるかな。
してるね。新入部員が2年連続でゼロなのはアキちゃんが空回りした結果なわけだし。
If it turns out that people have actually left the Robot Club since Akiho took over as club president, that too is a very worrying sign for the Robot Club.
ああ、そっか。
Yet she's still trying to put on a brave face about it. Until a few years ago, it was a prestigious club, but its rep is so low now that people call it worthless. Ironic considering the rest of the world is going through a robot boom. Until last year, the tech prep room in the main building was our home. It had issues. It was too dark, but it was better than this. Again, you can just invent lights. You would think that a central... You would think that a high school like this would actually be able to fit with the basic amenities. Akiho quickly puts on her red-framed glasses. By the way, these glasses are just for show. And also, most spectacularly, that's exactly what she's done. Also, what is with that sound effect? The he in this, the he she's referring to is a character from a super famous robot anime. He doesn't actually exist. Also, it's a very vague reference, and I do not get it myself. Whereas Kaito was just plain ridiculous. I don't think you understand sarcasm too much, Akiho, unfortunately.
ちなみに、勝手に猫耳生やさないでくれないかな。
You're only now just asking that, although of course you've probably had to put up with it for quite a while now, so you're not surprised. Just annoyed. And there's an annotation, Akiho Senomiya. Although why it's there is questionable at best.
かわいいね。にゃーにゃ
Kaito, it's a good thing we can't see your face right now, because I swear on the name of Mike, if you're making a cat face right now, I'm going to be incredibly livid.
もう怒るよ。そんなアプリは削除。
Or you could just break his phone right, but then we would actually be in a lot of trouble if that happened, because the PhoneDroid is actually a necessary tool to robotics nodes. Fine. I was kind of getting tired of the thing anyway, plus it was free. I'll live. Doesn't mean you'll stop though, even though you just have. I turn on cat ear mode off and delete it from my PhoneDroid. And the world breathes a sigh of relief. I leave the club room behind me and sit down in the shade of a nearby tree. This is my special after school spot. It's way more comfortable than the club room as long as it's not raining. Well, at least this yard has some shade from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. It's part of my daily routine to sit here and game. Of course it is. Now that the IRUO update is finished, it's about time I get started. I whip out my PhoneDroid and boot up Kill-Ballad from among the apps. That's not my mouse doing that, by the way. That's Kaito just jerking his mouse all over the place like a yeah. Anyway, what is Kill-Ballad? We're about to find out. Mobile Battler Gun Barrel Kill-Ballad Online. Kill-Ballad KB for short. An online first-person shooter, FPS, robot fighting game. Platform is for the PhoneDroid OS, released in August of 2017. Planning and development was done by Fraukoujiro Factory, an independent production. So basically what you're trying to tell me, Robotics Notes, is that what happened in the first episode of this Let's Play, the System Online Check, is nothing more than a virtual reality online fighting first-person shooter game. So basically we weren't actually piloting a genuine gun barrel. Also, for a person who states that they don't like robots and they don't like robot anime, playing a game which involves both of those things is essentially pretty much hypocritical. Also, the layout of this is quite different from Rintaro Okabe's smartphone in Steins Gate Zero, so I guess he was just using a regular smartphone as opposed to a PhoneDroid. We never actually got to see Takuro Miyashiro's PhoneDroid, however, which he referred to by its other name of Pokecom.
Kill-Ballad, Kido.
I think Kill-Ballad is what the app in the lower left corner. Our phone, email, address book, the internet browser, IRUO, Twippo, obviously, no @ channel I'm seeing, Daludo map, and document viewer.
Leaderboard はどうなってるかな?
So that was what Kaito was alluding to when he was talking about being number one on the leaderboards. It's all a video game. It's there is no actual real life gun barrel world tournaments, however. Boo! Boo, I say. And I do say boo. The first thing I always do after starting up Kill-Ballad is check the leaderboards, which is the third option on the menu there.
やれ
Let's see the scores. At 8th is Takada M. Number 7 is Titan Man. 6th is White Bean Guy. Number 5 is Umisho. Number 4 is Tiger Ringer. Number 3 is Bobbly 1983. Number 2 is Hanasono 1991. And the leader, number the first, is Takano I 1998. As usual, I can't help but sigh. For the record, my account is Umisho. In other words, I'm ranked 5th place in the world right now. Well, that's actually not that bad. Apparently Kill-Ballad has about 20 million active users worldwide, so being number 5 is pretty amazing. The top hasn't changed for about half a year. I want to be the best, so it sucks that I can't break those 4. So basically, Tagaringa, Bobby Lee, Hanasono, and Takano I are basically what you would consider Kill-Ballad's Elite 4 at this moment in time. Or rather, actually no. Takano I would be considered the champion, with Kaito, aka Umisho, being the 4th member tailing the Elite 4, which again is not a bad position to be in. As you can see, Kill-Ballad is a fighter game based on gun barrel. It's part of the recent worldwide robot boom I mentioned earlier. Plus it's based on a legendary robot anime, a huge hit still worshipped as a godly masterpiece around the world. The game was released on the PhoneDroid, a platform everyone owns. I say that with no small amount of sarcasm. It's an indie game, but its combat is crazy deep. These qualities helped Kill-Ballad become a huge success, downloaded 50 million times worldwide. That's KB. Honestly, because of Akiho, I have no interest in gun barrel. I'm just addicted to Kill-Ballad as a game. You say that, but it still counts as being hypocritical. There are even lots of students who play it at school. I'm rather surprised that Kaito hasn't just gone screw it, left the Robot Club and joined the Kill-Ballad online club instead. And yet nobody even bats an eye at our little club. Pretty sad. It kind of is, really. Match searching. Matching complete.
Ooh.
おっと
Whoa. Pitting us against the top tier, it seems. That's yeah. That's kind of entirely out of left field there. I recognize the handle name of the player I matched against. Yeah, we just saw it a short while ago. Fraukoujiro. This is the creator of Kill-Ballad. Then why isn't he the champion? He was number 4, I think, or no, he was number 4 on the rankings. I'm pretty sure, because the top 3 had years after their name, handle names. They're a genius programmer shrouded in complete mystery. All anybody knows is that they created Kill-Ballad, and yet they're not number one in the rankings. This is my first time getting matched with them. That said, I'd heard rumors that the game's creator was playing online. I guess they were true.
作者と対戦できるなんて光栄じゃないの。
Yeah, you're probably going to get your ass handed to you there. I really hope that I don't have to have the embarrassment of fighting Fraukoujiro myself, because that would be a pain in the ass if I had to do that. I'm starting to get hyped. I correct my sitting posture and focus. I wonder if we can actually choose which gun barrels we can be. I think I'm going to be... Oh, hey, look, there's Big Zam. Quiet. I had to use that Game Grumps reference. There was no way that I wasn't going to use the Big Zam reference. And, you know what? I'm actually going to post a link to that moment in Game Grumps history where Big Zam made his debut appearance on Game Grumps in the video description below. You're welcome. Show me your moves. KB doesn't use a stick for inputs. It has a combo system that involves timed button presses for time button pressing in succession. Special command will come from the right side of the screen. Please press the commanded buttons. Special move will activate when inputting the commands within the time limit. Inputs left, time left, and oh god. Those are PlayStation button symbols. Cross or X, circle, square, and triangle. And another square and another triangle. I don't have a controller. I'm using keyboard. Please don't tell me I have to do this, Kaito. I'm begging you. Please, I have my fingers crossed. I really don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to press buttons in a visual novel game. I really don't. In general, as long as there's no input error, once the first hit lands, you'll link the rest of the combo together. That said, some of the combos have pretty harsh timing requirements, which means you need a good eye as well as good reflexes. And considering that I'm averagely mediocre when it comes to fighting game button presses, I mean, sure, I played Tekken 2 back in the day, but that was a long time ago. And I may have dabbled in the occasional arcade, but my button mashing is less than stellar. This is going to be painful. And it's not like your opponent is just going to sit around and let you land a hit. That's what worries me the most. Once you enter the top 10 world rankings, battles mostly become about reading your opponent's moves. Well, don't blame me if you suddenly drop from rank 5 to rank 6 just because of my mediocre skills. It's not my fault. I'm not liable for anything that happens. Being countered and being crushed before you can do much is the norm. Reading your opponent and countering counters is the key. We're gonna get absolutely crushed. I can feel it. In fighting games, it's all about choices made down to a single frame. You gotta read and make the right choice. I suck at this. I absolutely suck. Frame. A word used to describe a measurement of time in a fighting game. One frame is usually 1/60th of a second. I'm going to be absolutely terrible at this if I have to do this in real time. That's what determines who wins and who loses. Of course, that's not everything. You've got to consider character specs, plus the issue that lag raises, but that unpredictable element known as lag. It has been the bane of many a gamer throughout the years. Mastery down to a single frame. That's the height of skill for a fighting game player. A skill that I completely lack. I'm sorry to say, Kaito Yashio. I say that, but it's probably impossible to distinguish individual frames by eye. Either way, you basically just have to be constantly watching your opponent's moves. Nonchalant advances, retreats, even crouching are parts of the puzzle. You have to be able to read into that. Getting quite the tutorial from Kaito here. The second you take your eye off the opponent, they'll strike at an opening. You can never let your guard down. It's also important to be able to make out a player's habits. Being able to see patterns faster changes your accuracy. By the way, I'm trying not to brag, but my reaction time is pretty good. I'm trying not to brag here, Kaito, but my reaction time is pretty shit. Pretty terrible. I think I average about 4 frames when reacting by sight. I can't say the same. I think I can come up with 4 moves within 8 frames. This is about my average. I mean, sure, I did a Let's Play of Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger way back when, but that doesn't count as an indicator. Well, I suppose it does. It serves as an indicator of how not quite skilled I am when it comes to fighting games. Mostly because I'm not fighting against a human opponent. When I'm in the zone, I can deduce the winning option within those 8 frames. 2 moves are common textbook options. One is about getting ahead of the opponent's intentions. The last utilizes a super difficult combo to confuse them. I pick up one of these 4 patterns depending on the situation. The confusion combo looks cool, but has no real practical use. Sometimes the top rankers gotta show off, right? Regardless, if I have 8 frames, I can crush any technique that comes my way. Well, if I see it coming. Like I explained earlier, a real fight is about reading moves. That means stuff doesn't always go according to plan. Anyway, let's get this party started. Please, you know what? For the sake of my own sanity, I'm going to end this episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. For my own safety, if nothing else. So when we return, adventurers, because this episode has gone on long enough, we shall see whether or not I actually have to fight Kaito's battle for him in real time. And if I do, it's going to be pretty terrible. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.